What's going on today, guys? Today I got a lengthy pickups video here for you. I looked back at my videos this year and I realized I haven't done a pickups video at all. The last one I did, I think, was in November of last year. And this year's been a little bit of a roller coaster for me. It's been a little wild, so like my videos have been a little bit all over the place, and you can see Louie in the background there walking around. But yeah, so I'm going to do a lengthy pickups video for you. It's going to be all my pickups from this year, at least all the ones I can remember. I know I wasn't keeping track that well. But yeah, it'll be a fun video. I'm looking forward to talking about these games that I picked up. Let me know in the comments if you have any of these games as well. All right, guys, let's dive in. Let's take a look. So these games are going to be just in random order. I can't quite remember exactly when I got them throughout the year. So the first one up on the list is Star Wars Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron 3 on the Nintendo GameCube. Still has the EB Games sticker on it and everything. Picked this one up at Most Wanted Pawn. Picked it up for $9.99. Great deal for this game. They actually had a couple other ones that were in the behind the glass a little bit. I think they were like for $19.99, $24.99. I can't quite remember. But I found this one just in the pile of other games, and it was showing for $9.99. Of course, I had to pick it up. It has everything inside, the instruction manuals, everything. This game, it still looks great. If you play it on the Wii, you got those component cables to make it look even more sharper. This game, this series in particular, not this game, but this series, was the first series that I saw on the Nintendo GameCube when it first came out. Rogue Squadron 2 in particular. When I saw that game at a kiosk in EB Games, that absolutely blew my mind. So of course, this game I had to have in the collection. Like I said, it still looks amazing. Star Wars Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron 3 is game number 1 on my pickups video. Let's move on to the next one. Next one up on the list is Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, and I picked this up in a bundle of original Xbox games. I paid $25 for 6 different original Xbox games. They'll show up eventually in this pile. So nothing too wild about this game. I already have it in my collection. I have the collector's edition as well, but I don't think I have the platinum hits, so that's why I was interested in this one. But not too much to say about it. It's the third game in the Splinter Cell series. It's an awesome game. And the next one on the list is Renegade Paintball. I picked this one up not too long ago from Parlor Pawn in Moncton. I paid just a few bucks for it. I think maybe only $2. I can't remember. They had these stickers on them. Based on the sticker was how much you paid type thing. And I think this was in the $2 pile. But yeah, it caught my eye. You know, I don't have it in my collection, so it's another game added to the list. Pretty cool, you know. It was a simple paintball game. Looked like it had Xbox Live at one point, which would have been pretty cool to play. And yeah, I'm happy to have it in my collection. So this year I got pretty into the Tony Hawk series. I was live streaming them at one point, and in my Playing Everything series, and I started picking up the games wherever I could find them, essentially on every platform that I could play them on. So the next game up here is Tony Hawk American Wasteland on the original Xbox. I believe this game also came out on the Xbox 360 as well, but this is the original Xbox version. Paid $9.99 for it at Most Wanted Pawn. Good price for me. I'm not mad at it. You know, I like this game. It's pretty cool. I've always liked the Tony Hawk series. It's one of my favorite series in gaming, minus Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. And I've said that before. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 is an absolute trash game, but for the most part, every other game is pretty good. So I'm happy to have Tony Hawk's American Wasteland in my collection on the original Xbox. This one was a fun find for me. Final Fantasy VIII on the original PlayStation. Picked this one up for $10 at, it's probably not even coming through. Picked this one up for $10. Oh yeah, that's definitely not coming through. Anyways, I picked this game up at the SPCA thrift store for $10. I've never played this game, honestly. I never grew up on a PlayStation. I've said that before. I grew up on Nintendo, so I never really got into Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10. You name them, really. Honestly, past Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo is as far as I got. So minus Crystal Chronicles on the Nintendo GameCube. I think it's 4 discs. It's quite crazy, but you know, had everything in it. Has the instruction manuals and everything, so it's in good shape. $10, you can't beat that. And this is another one that I picked up when I was in PEI. It caught my eye just because it's a compilation disc. It's an anniversary collection, and that's the Mega Man collection on the original Xbox. This game comes with 10 classic Mega Man titles. Honestly, I never really played the Mega Man series growing up, so it's pretty cool to just have this game in my collection if I want to go back and play them and not have to emulate them and stuff like that. Paid $9.99 for this one, and I'm happy to have the Mega Man collection in my collection. And this is a DS game that I found at the Salvation Army. I paid $2.99 for it. Nothing too crazy, but Crosswords or Crossword DS. Nothing crazy, you know. I just like to have these DS games in my collection. I like the fact that it still has the case, you know, everything's in good condition. And this is one I picked up not too long ago. It's called Surviving the Aftermath. I picked it up for the Xbox Series X. Actually picked this one up at GameStop of all places. They were having this deal on where if a game is under $15, I think it was, then you get 50% off. So this one was $14.99. I ended up paying what, $7.50 for it. Essentially, it's a post-apocalyptic kind of survival overhead game type thing. I only played a few minutes of it so far. From what I've played, it seems pretty cool, actually. It seems like a cool survival post-apocalyptic type game, and that game is Surviving the Aftermath. And one of my most recent pickups is U-Star 2. I've never even heard of this game before. It's on the Kinect. It's also on a couple other platforms as well. I believe on the PlayStation and the Wii as well. Star in real movies is what it says. Pick your role and star in Hollywood's biggest blockbusters. It lists a bunch of different movies and stuff, like The Godfather, Kick-Ass, The Terminator, Star Trek. So I'm assuming that you have to reenact those scenes in those movies. $7.99 at Value Village. The Value Village close to me is getting a little ridiculous in the prices. Like $7.99 for this is a little high for me. I was actually surprised I picked this one up, to be honest with you. I just couldn't pass it up because it just looked so different to me. Like, I've never seen this game before, and I was like, you know what, I might as well pick it up. Right now, I'm kind of working on my living room a little bit more to make that into kind of a gaming room as well. So I'll have more space. I'll have more open space so I can play Kinect games as well. Next one up is another game I found at the Salvation Army for $2.99, and that is World Series Poker 2008 on the Nintendo DS. And like I said about the other DS game, I just like it because it was in its case. It's in good condition. World Series Poker 2008 on the Nintendo DS. And the next one up on the list, excited to find this one, Assassin's Creed Syndicate on the PlayStation 4. Yeah, I picked up Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I paid $10 for that. I know it's not the craziest price for it. I want it in my collection. I do want to go back and I want to play the Assassin's Creed series. I want to play them on different consoles, so I will play the Assassin's Creed Syndicate on the PlayStation 5. But yeah, I'm excited to have this one in the collection. You know I love my Assassin's Creed. Look at the shelves behind me, you know, filled with all that Assassin's Creed stuff. I love the series, so what can I say? And here's another game that I picked up from that charity auction I was talking about earlier, Namco Museum 50th Anniversary. And that was part of the 6 games that I paid $25 for. So I'm happy to have this one in my collection because, you know, I like the Mega Man series, the Mega Man Anniversary. I like these compilations. I like when they have a whole bunch of games right on the disc itself. This one has 14 arcade hits on it. So you got Pac-Man, you got Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, all the classics that you can expect from Namco. This is the Namco Museum 50th Anniversary on the original Xbox. I like it in my collection. I like the case. And another find at the Salvation Army, another Nintendo DS game, Toonduku, Sudoku with pictures on the Nintendo DS. What can I say about this one? At one point it was $24.99 at EB Games. I paid $2.99 for it. I just like to grow the DS collection a little bit. And the next one up on my collection, I picked this one also up at EB Games, Mass Effect Andromeda. I've only paid $2 for this one because they had it up for $3.99 with the 50% off deal. Ended up paying $2. I've heard mixed reviews on this one in particular. I played about 15-20 hours of the first Mass Effect before falling off. I do want to go back and give it a try at some point though, and Mass Effect Andromeda will be one of them. And another one from that charity auction, Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the original Xbox. Not much to say about this one, you know, it was mainly centered around playing on Xbox Live, which you can't do anymore. You can still play against bots and all that good stuff. Star Wars Battlefront 2 was highly rated at the time. This one's in good shape. The case looks really good. It's got all the instruction manuals, and I'm happy about that. And it's a cool game to have in your collection. It's a cool Star Wars title to have in your collection. And goodness me, guys, another game from Salvation Army, Brain Age 2 on the Nintendo DS. Paid $2.99 for this one. It's in good condition. Nothing too crazy about the Brain Age series. If you ever listen or read Reggie's book, he talks a little bit about Brain Age and bringing that over to North America, which is a pretty cool story. Highly recommend that book. Yeah, nothing too crazy to say about Brain Age 2. It's just good to have in the collection. And another one from the Tony Hawk series and on the PlayStation 1, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. And honestly, up until this year, I didn't even know that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 came out on the original PlayStation, which is pretty wild. This game came out also on the GameCube, PlayStation 2, original Xbox. You know, it's funny because a lot of people talk about cross-gen and they act like it's a new thing. Cross-gen's been around for a long time, you know, and this is a good example of it. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 on the PlayStation 1, you know, probably shouldn't be there. It probably shouldn't be on the PlayStation 1, but it is because, you know, they wanted the sales of the original PlayStation. You know, it doesn't play the best on the PlayStation 1, but it is doable. Again, you know, just a reminder, guys, you can play all PlayStation 1 games on any PlayStation 3. I just bust this game out on my PlayStation 3, and you can add smoothing, you can make it widescreen, all that good stuff. I have no problems playing it. So yeah, this is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 on the PlayStation 1. At some point, I do need to do a live stream of this one in my Playing Everything series. I'm looking forward to that. This game's pretty cool to have in the collection. I'm happy with this one. And next up, guys, is a game on the Nintendo Wii, New Carnival Games. Picked this up for $2.99 at the Salvation Army as well. What can I say? You know, it's nothing too crazy. It's a bunch of mini games for the Nintendo Wii. Yeah, I can't be mad at this one. You know, picked it up for $2.99, made by 2K Play, which, you know, I didn't even know that 2K made this series. And next up is a game on the 3DS this time, not just the original DS, and that's Splinter Cell 3D. I picked this game up for $5 at Parlor Pawn. Couldn't be mad at that deal. You know, it's a game that I never really thought of having in my collection, but when it was there, you know, I felt like I had to pick it up. It was in a bundle, it was in a pile of a bunch of other $5 games, but this one caught my eye. Doesn't play too bad actually on the 3DS. You know, you're kind of limited with the analog sticks because you only have one analog stick on the 3DS. Even on the new 3DS XL, it doesn't work with that second nub, but it plays decently enough. You know, it has all those things that you like from a Splinter Cell game. It has the night vision goggles, it has the sneaking around and stuff like that. It's just a little bit limited by the 3DS, but still pretty cool to have in the collection. And that's Splinter Cell 3D on the 3DS. Next one up is a pretty cool find for me. It's a brand new sealed copy of Assassin's Creed Rogue on the PlayStation 3. Paid $9.99 for this at Value Village. It was behind the glass, so I thought it would be a little bit more expensive than that. But I've never played it on the PlayStation 3 before, and unfortunately I won't be able to play it yet because I'm not going to open up this copy. This is a sealed copy. I'm happy about that. I love it. $9.99. You can't beat that for Assassin's Creed Rogue. I love Assassin's Creed Rogue. If you've never played it, I feel like it's a game in the series that you should be playing. If you like Black Flag, then you're gonna love Assassin's Creed Rogue as well. And it takes place in Atlantic Canada. It takes place in other places as well. But you know, we need to shine a light on Atlantic Canada when we can. You know, this is Atlantic Canadian Gamer, so of course I'm gonna give a little shout out to Atlantic Canada whenever I can. So next one up is a fun one I found on the Nintendo Wii. This is Jeopardy. This is one of these games that you play with the wife or something like that and have some fun answering some questions. And I like the Jeopardy games on the consoles, so they make it a little bit easier now too. You don't have to like type it in or nothing, none of that shit. You just gotta like pick like from one of 4 answers. It makes it pretty easy. I picked this game up for $4.99 at Value Village. $4.99 is decent, and I'm happy with the pickup, and I'm looking forward to giving this game a try at some point. And this game comes from my charity auction winnings. This is Deus Ex Invisible War, part of that $25 bundle that I picked up. I'm happy with this one. I don't have it in my collection, or I didn't have it in my collection. It's in good shape. There's nothing wrong with it. Never honestly played this game before, but I'm happy to have it in my collection. Nothing too crazy. Deus Ex Invisible War on the original Xbox. And this game is my personal game of the year. Picked up The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom on the Nintendo Switch. Like I said, this is my game of the year. I put so many hours into this game. There's a lot to do in this game, and I never even did everything in the game. You know, at one point I think I put 160 hours into it, and I was like, I gotta wrap this story up. I gotta find out what happens in this story before I get spoiled. And you know, I wasn't let down by this game at all. I really like Tears of the Kingdom. This is my game of the year. I hope it wins Game of the Year at the Game Awards, and that's The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom on the Nintendo Switch. This is a really fun game to have in your Wii collection. If you don't have it, you should pick it up. And that's Tiger Woods 09 All Play. And the All Play series in general is just pretty awesome. It's got a bunch of mini games as well, like party mode kind of idea. It's a lot more fun. They're fun to play with friends. It's funny. You know, this is well put together. It's a well put together golf game on the Nintendo Wii. You know, you kind of get that simulation of playing golf. It's cool. It's a good balance between realistic, but also a game where you can have a lot of fun. And coming up, another game in the Tony Hawk series, Tony Hawk's Project 8. Picked that up on the original Xbox, paid $2.99 for this one at Value Village. $2.99, that's the sweet spot at Value Village. Yeah, another game for the Tony Hawk series, Project 8. You know, it's another Tony Hawk game. It plays like Tony Hawk. It's fun. It's fast-paced. It's arcadey. It has Plus 44 in the soundtrack, which, you know, I love. A little offshoot of Blink-182. I'm really happy to have this one in the collection. At some point, it will show up on the Playing Everything series. You'll be able to see more of it as well. Back at the All Play series on the Nintendo Wii, this one's really fun. Madden 09 All Play. When I first busted this game out, I busted it out with a couple friends. We just put this one on in a whim, really. Like, we just threw this one in. Weren't sure really how it would be. We're just like, let's play some sports titles. We had a lot of fun with this one. This one was fun. Playing 2-on-2 with this one while you're playing with the Wii and stuff. You're kind of, you know, you're shooting them back, you're throwing the ball. You know, you got to watch out for your TV, right? You got to make sure you got those wrist straps in, because this is one of those games where a nunchuck will go flying, a Wii remote will go flying, your TV will get ruined, but it's a lot of fun. It's like I said with the Tiger Woods, it's a good balance between a realistic game, but also a game where you can have a lot of arcadey type fun. You don't have to take it too serious if you don't want to. I highly recommend this game in your Wii collection, and especially if you play Wii games and maybe play them with friends or family or young kids or something like that, I definitely recommend checking this one out. And the next one up in my pickups video is Atari Anthology on the original Xbox. Picked this one up also in the charity auction win, the $25 for 6 games. Like the other ones, you know, I like these collector's games. I like the ones with all the different games in it in one, and this one's a big one. This one's a beefy one, 85 games in one. It's too bad it doesn't have achievements or anything like that, because I feel like this game would have been nuts for the achievements. But yeah, it has 18 classic arcade games, including Asteroids, Battlezone, Centipede, etc., plus 67 Atari 2600 games. That is a beefy anthology right there. You know, kudos to Atari for putting all those games onto one disc. They didn't have to, but this is just how they did it back in the day. You know, now you might see games with 10, maybe 15 games on the collections, but at one point, you know, like we were seeing 85 classic games on a compilation disc. So that's pretty cool. I'm happy to have this one in the collection. The case is in good shape. It looks cool. That's Atari Anthology on the original Xbox. All right, guys, let's take a little bit of a break here on the games, and let's look at some hardware that I picked up. And I'm pretty happy about this one. I picked this one up not too long ago, and that's the Quest 3. Honestly, I picked this one up right at launch. I picked it up when as soon as I could pre-order it, and it's pretty cool. It's a nice step up from the Quest 2. It looks better. The resolution's better. The mixed reality is really cool. The fact that you can you know, see all of your surroundings really good. You're probably seeing the videos online where people are doing their chores around the house while wearing their headset all day. That's no joke. You honestly can do that. It's pretty cool. You know, I've always said once I went wireless, I could never go back to some sort of wired VR headset. You know, the PlayStation 5 VR was just absolutely no, I was not going to get it because it had the one cable. Frankly, that's too much for me. Even with this, you can do wireless AirPlay to your PC if you want to play the more enhanced games, and honestly, it's seamless. You don't notice a difference. Yeah, the Quest 3 is really cool. I'm looking forward to the Assassin's Creed game coming out on it, and I think it's really cool. And if you're looking into maybe getting a VR headset, I would definitely consider the Quest 3. It's really cool to have. It's completely wireless, and it's a game changer in my opinion. And this one's cool to have in the collection. Another sealed game I found, All-Star Baseball 2005. Found that at the SPCA thrift store for $4. It's never been opened. It's sealed, still in its wrapper and everything. It's pretty cool. Made by Acclaim. I've never played it before. I'm gonna keep it in its original packaging. I think it's pretty cool to have. $4, All-Star Baseball 2005 on the original Xbox. And goodness me, another Tony Hawk's game. I'm embarrassed to say I picked this one up on eBay as well. Paid $6 for this one. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 on the original Xbox. I'm happy to have it in my collection. I have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 on other consoles as well, including the GameCube. But honestly, playing on the Xbox is where I want to play it. I get the custom soundtracks. It looks the best. I can play it in component. Probably 720p. Let me just double check. Yeah, 720p. So, you know, you're getting the better resolution as well. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. I'm super happy to have in this in my collection. And this is a cool pickup. I'm happy with this one. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire for the Nintendo 64. I paid $9.95 for this one at Parlor Pawn in Moncton. Yeah, I'm happy to have this one in my collection because I played this game as a kid, but I never owned it. I think it's just a cool game to have in your N64 collection, and if you're building your library, this is one that you should have. And I think everybody knew that I was going to pick up this game, Assassin's Creed Mirage. Picked this one up on the Xbox Series X. I pre-ordered this one over a year ago. Actually, when it first was announced, they did the pre-order bonuses that you could get off the Ubisoft, so I pre-ordered it right away. I got the statue, got everything else. At this point, I haven't actually beat this game yet. I'd say I'm about halfway through, maybe 3/4, and so far I'm really enjoying it. It's a little bit more of a condensed Assassin's Creed game. It takes place in a smaller map, and you do play as Basim, and Basim is a very popular character coming out of the Valhalla series. I am looking forward to fully beating it and getting the whole story and everything like that. I haven't been spoiled by it or anything, so I'm looking forward to finishing this one up. It's Assassin's Creed Mirage on the Xbox Series X. And another game on the Nintendo Switch, Metroid Prime Remastered. Honestly, guys, I picked this up. I haven't even got to it yet. It's still sealed. I picked this one up when I was in PEI on a work trip as well. Hype got to me. It had just come out. I went to GameStop, and they only had one left. I was like, you know what? Give it to me. I gotta have it. I have played this game on the GameCube back in the day. It's a cool game, you know. It's a cool. Back then, it was like it was really being compared a lot to Halo. It was supposed to be GameCube's Halo. First-person Metroid game was something that everybody always wanted, and now that it's out, you know, people, I think they wanted to see the remaster. Everybody was hoping for this game to come out on the Switch for such a long time. Finally, it's here. I believe it did get, you know, remastered a little bit on the Nintendo Wii as well, but really I think that was more around the motion controls more than anything. So this one does have updated graphics as well. And yeah, that's the Metroid Prime remaster on the Nintendo Switch. Motocross Mania 3. Again, you can see the little green sticker here. Let me find it. You can see the green sticker. So I think I've only paid $2 for this one as well. I never really actually even heard of this game. It reminds me of Road Rash. When I first saw the cover, I was like, oh, is this some sort of like Road Rash remake? I think that's exactly what it is. It seems like it's that type of style. You know, you can punch guys right off of their bikes and stuff like that. It's on the back of it, it says crazed riders have turned motocross racing into an intense blood sport where survival is the name of the game. Apparently there was 2 others before this one. Nothing too crazy. Motocross Mania 3 on the original Xbox. And another game I picked up at GameStop for 50% off is, I don't even know if I'm saying this right, Sign Mora EX. Picked that one up on the Xbox One. It was listed for $7.99, so I ended up only paying $4 for it. Back of it, I haven't played it yet, so let me just read the back of it. Sign Mora is a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up that provides a unique challenge where time is the ultimate factor. So yeah, I'll try this game at some point. Won't be anything crazy. I don't think that it's too wild of a game. Side-scrolling games aren't really my thing. I do want to give it a try. You know, I had to add it to the collection regardless. That's Sign More on the Xbox One. All right, guys, time for another hardware pickup. This one's a little bit more of a fun one. I was at the recycling depot and I was dropping off some old electronics that I didn't need anymore. In the bins, I saw that there was two N64 controllers in there. The one that caught my eye was obviously the black one. There was also a gray one as well. They're in pretty good condition. Like the joysticks are like still really responsive. No issues at all. Like, hear that? Little ASMR for you. They're cool to have in the collection. And you know, when you do go to recycling depots and they do have an electronics bin or dump, you should always ask to make sure that you can take that stuff, because technically it's not free reign. It is theirs now. Like that is their property. So, you know, I did just mention to the guy, I said, hey, you know, I collect gaming stuff. Can I take these type thing? He had no issues with it. He didn't even really know what they were, to be honest with you. But yeah, there was no issues with that. So yeah, if you do see them at electronics depots, make sure you do just ask, and I'm sure they'll give them to you. But yeah, I'm really happy to find these free in the trash, if you want to say. But
one man's garbage, another person's good on garbage, and I'm gonna roll with that.
They were in the electronics bin at the recycling depot. And the next one up on the list is SSX3 on the original Xbox, made by EA.
EA Sports.
Picked this one up at Parlor Pond, got the green sticker on it. Honestly, I can't remember how much these green stickers were worth. I think they were $2, maybe $3. That's why I keep the prices on my games most times, because I can't remember how much I paid for them, and I like to go back and remember that. Yeah, so SSX3, picked this one up at Parlor Pond, like I said. Nothing too crazy. On the original Xbox, it's in good shape. It has everything in it. Happy with this pickup. Let's move on. Honestly, these next two games, they have me questioning what the stickers meant at Parlor Pond, because I picked up these two games. I'm just going to bundle them together because it's a lot easier. And that's Bandai Golf on the original NES. I don't know why I said the original Xbox.
Idiot.
And just Golf on the NES, and they have red stickers on them, and now I'm questioning, was the green sticker worth $4.99 and the red was $1.99? I can't quite remember. I'm looking at these sports titles and I'm like, surely they were not expensive. I paid under $5, let's say that. That's Bandai Golf on the NES and Golf on the NES. Nothing too exciting. I just like to build my cartridge collection whenever I can, and if they're under $5, I'm typically going to pick them up. I'm a sucker for that price range, so yeah, happy with these two. Next one up on the list, nothing too exciting. Picked it up at the SPCA thrift store. Part of me when I go into the SPCA thrift store is A, I want to find games, and B, I want to support them. So if I find a game that I don't have in my collection, but I also don't really want that much, oftentimes I'll pick it up. And this one is a good example of that, and that's Jillian Michaels on the Wii. I think this is Jillian Michaels 2009. Paid $3 for this one. Nothing too crazy. It's just good to have in the collection. I'm probably not going to play it at any point. And yeah, you know, it's a good game to keep you in shape. Jillian Michaels on the Nintendo Wii. And this next game comes from the same charity auction, except this was a bundle of Xbox 360 games, and I bid $15 and ended up winning. And that's Assassin's Creed on the Xbox 360. You know, I love my Assassin's Creed. There's not much else to say about it. Yeah, it's backwards compatible with the Xbox One, Xbox Series X. I believe it has auto HDR and maybe a 60 FPS mode on the Xbox Series X. So if you can play it on that. It's pretty cool to have in the collection. I'm happy to have this one. Next one up in the pickups video, Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz. Picked this one up also at Parlor Pond. Paid $5.95 for this one. It's just like a party game. It's not like the traditional Super Monkey Ball games that we knew and loved from the GameCube and Xbox era. It's still cool to have in the collection. It's more mini game focused. Some of them are pretty tough. And on the back of it, it says, it's a whole new monkey in a ball game. That's exactly what it is. It's a bunch of mini games. So nothing too special about this one. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz on the Nintendo Wii. Good to have in the collection. And yet another game in the Tony Hawk series, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Picked this one up for $20 at Parlor Pond. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on the N64, I should add. It's got the cool yellow cartridge on it, which is pretty awesome. It plays great on the Nintendo 64. I have no issues with that. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, I originally played on the Nintendo 64, and then I played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 mainly on PC, honestly, which is a little bit different, and also on the Game Boy Advance. But it's fun to go back and it's fun to play it on the N64. That's pretty cool to have in the collection. I'm happy to have this one. And this one also comes from the charity auction, and that's Fallout 3 on the Xbox 360. This one's in great condition. It's awesome. It's the Platinum Hits version, has everything in it. Another game that you can play with backwards compatible on the Xbox One or Xbox Series X. I believe, again, it has auto HDR, it has 60 frames, so it plays even better when you're playing it on the Xbox Series X or S. This is a great game. This is a great game to have in your collection. It's Fallout 3 is an awesome game. Highly recommended. If you haven't played it before, definitely check this one out. And this one's a little bit more difficult to talk about, and that's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. And I picked up Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 about 2 weeks before my father passed, and I was actually down visiting my parents, and saw this game pop up on the marketplace, and I told him that I wanted to go get it, and he wanted to come with me, and he normally never really came. So yeah, he never really came with me before to go get games a lot. So it meant a lot to me for him to come with me, and it was an easy drive for him. It wasn't a fun drive for him. At that point he was really not doing well, and but he wanted to come along, and he wanted to take part in the journey of me getting the games that I wanted to get, and and I was really excited to get this game, and I still am excited that I have this game in my collection. But it comes with an asterisk. It comes with that little bit of a cloud hanging over it, because I got it so close to his passing, and the fact that he came with me to get it, and was struggling so much yet wanted to take part in that, and yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this one at some point. I'm happy to have this one in the collection. Like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 on the PlayStation 1, I didn't even know that this game came out on the N64. I remember actually doing a pickups video, I think maybe last year, when I talked about getting Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, and I was like, I gotta have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 and 3. I do want to get more of the Tony Hawk games on the N64. 2 and 3 would be a lot of fun. For the longest time, I didn't even know 3 was on the Nintendo 64. I think I paid $70 for this one. It's not a great price. I had to have it, and it was definitely one for the collection. You don't see it pop up very often, and especially in good shape. This one's in pretty decent shape. I'm happy to have this one in the collection. All right, guys, no more tears allowed during this pickups video. So on to the next one is Gran Turismo 6. Picked that up on the PlayStation 3. I'm trying to remember where I picked this one up. I can't remember, but yeah, I must have picked it up somewhere. Gran Turismo 6. Where did I get this? Honestly, I can't remember where I got it. So we're just gonna pretend, I got it for free. So yeah, the Gran Turismo 6. Nothing too crazy about this one. I went to go boot it up in my PlayStation 3, and it needed felt like friggin' 40 hours of updates and hard drive installations, and so I never really busted it out that much. But I like to have the exclusive games in my collection, and this is exclusively for the PlayStation 3, Gran Turismo 6. Happy to have this one in my collection. And another game I picked up off eBay, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 on the original PlayStation. This is the greatest hits version, and this just comes, strictly from me needing every Tony Hawk game this year. Like, at one point I became super obsessed. I needed to have every Tony Hawk game that I could possibly find, and that's why I picked this one up off eBay. Again, I probably could have found this at maybe a local pawn shop eventually or something like that, but I felt like I needed to have it right then and there, and that's why I paid for it. I paid $14.95 for this one. Not too bad, honestly. I would have paid that if I went to a pawn shop as well. So let me remind you guys again, I love just drilling this home. You can play any PlayStation 1 game on any PlayStation 3. So if you do want to play PlayStation 1 games, just go out and get one of those cheap PlayStation 3 top loaders. That's what I got. I think I paid $40 for it. It's completely fine. You can play all these games on it. So yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Happy to have this one in the collection. All right, guys, time for another hardware pickup. You might recall those N64 controllers back a few minutes ago that I picked up at the Electronics Depot when I was dropping off some electronics. And another thing that was in that pile was Nintendo Wii. It's nothing too crazy. It's a little banged up and stuff. It's a little bit dirty.
One man's garbage, another person's good on garbage.
It works fine. It's the GameCube version, so you got the GameCube ports as well. Unfortunately, there was no game in it when I brought it home. I booted it up. I wanted to see if there was some game inside. There's no memory card or anything like that. Can't pass it up when it's free. Like I said, guys, if you do see these things at the Enviro depots and they're in the bins, just make sure you do ask, because like I said, it's not free reign. It is their property, and they'll get mad at you if you keep coming back and just taking things from the piles that they're going to get money from, essentially. And another one in the Assassin's Creed collection. This one's cool. It's Assassin's Creed: The Americas collection. Picked this one up for $6.99 at Value Village. Thought it was pretty cool. I just like these compilation discs. I'm kind of realizing in this pickups video. I have a lot of compilation discs. This is just another one of them. So it has Assassin's Creed 3, Black Flag, and Liberation HD. You know, I do want to go back and I want to play the older Assassin's Creed games on different consoles. This will be no exception. I will play Assassin's Creed Black Flag and 3 and Liberation HD on the PlayStation 3. At some point, I'll also do a Playing Everything live stream of this one as well. It'll be cool to play. Looking forward to that. And this one was a lot of fun. Star Wars Jedi Survivor on the PlayStation 5. And the reason I ended up picking it up on the PlayStation 5 versus the Xbox Series X is because of the haptic feedback on the controller. It really just came down to how immersive do I want to feel in this game, and the PlayStation 5 does a good job of that with its controller. It feels just a little bit more immersive. I would love to see Xbox come out with a revamped controller that does the same thing. I think it's been rumored or leaked at one point that they are planning on doing that. But for now, you know, I got to play it on the PlayStation 5 because you just get that extra immersiveness. This game got a lot of, I want to say hate at the beginning. It was the flavor of the week is what I call it. It's the gaming flavor of the week, where this game was getting a lot of hate over the performance. You know, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I find that Digital Foundry in general, or any of these sites that compare the games all the time, break it down to the nitty gritty, end up doing more harm to the gaming industry than they do good. So for this game, you know, yes, it dropped a few more frames than the Xbox Series X, but for the most part, this game played fine for me. There was no issues at all, other than maybe a couple glitches here and there, you know, where somebody gets stuck in the wall or anything like that, but it didn't hinder the game at any point. So if you haven't played this game, but you have played Jedi Fallen Order and you're kind of holding off, I highly recommend this one. If Tears of the Kingdom never came out, this honestly probably would have been my game of the year for me. I think this game's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Just talking about it, I want to go back and I want to play it again. Next one up, nothing too exciting. NHL 21 on the PlayStation 4 red sticker. So what I'm thinking here, guys, is that the red stickers were $2 and the green stickers might have been $3 or $4. Either way, all of them were under $5, like I said. I wish that they just... Oh, actually, here. This confirms it. I just see it. I don't know if it'll come up. 2 right there. That's what they should have done for all of them. But yeah, I picked this up at Parlor Pawn, so now we know the red stickers were $2. The green ones must have been a little bit more. But yeah, $2 for NHL 21. You know, I couldn't pass it up. If I'm looking to build the library, which is what I want to do, I like seeing all my games. You might see why I don't have my games or my shelves behind me anymore, because I've moved them out into the living room, and I want to start showcasing my games more and more and kind of build that library. If I can find the odd game here for $2 like I'd like to do, it's the thrill of the hunt, then I'm definitely going to pick it up. That's NHL 21 on the PlayStation 4. Next one up from that charity auction is Gears of War 2 on the Xbox 360. Like I said, I paid $15 for 6 Xbox 360 games. Gears 2 is one of them. What can you say about Gears 2? You know, it's an awesome game. It's an amazing story. You know, one of the few games that I know a lot of grown men, they shed a few tears in this game. Like, if you were to see this like just at face value, you're like, what? Like, is this a game with a lot of story? And Gears of War is one of those series that you just have to have if you have an Xbox 360. It's another game that is backwards compatible on the Xbox Series X. It has those enhancements, as well as backwards compatible on the Xbox One. Plays awesome, guys. You know, if you've never played the Gears of War series, I highly recommend it. It's an awesome series to play. And we might as well stick to the Gears of War theme. Gears of War 1. Also picked this one up from the charity auction. I already have this game. I do have it sealed, but I wanted another one in my collection because this case is in really good shape. I was happy with it. It has everything. Like I've said about the other games, this is another one that's backwards compatible. It plays even better when you're playing on the Xbox Series S or X. This was the game to have on the Xbox 360 when it came out. It was a new IP. You know, it was mind-blowing. The graphics were insane at the time. Even if you just had a CRT TV, which a lot of us had during that time, it still looked amazing. It looked even better in HD, and if you've never played this series, I absolutely highly recommend it. And here we go with another compilation disc, Assassin's Creed the Ezio Trilogy. I picked this game up at a game store in Montreal. It's called Retro Montreal. I highly recommend it. It's an awesome gaming store that's in Montreal. They had all sorts of games, used, new, you name it. This was a really fun pickup for me. So yeah, I'm definitely going to play the Ezio Trilogy on the PlayStation 3 at some point. I'm looking forward to checking this one out. So another game I picked up when I was at Retro Montreal was the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 on the Game Boy Advance, complete in box. Yeah, so I was happy to find this one. I think I paid $29.95 for this one. Probably not the best deal, but you know, I was on vacation. You're in the moment. You want to get something fun. I'm still, you know, heavily looking for the Tony Hawk games whenever I can. And honestly, guys, you know, Tony Hawk games on the Game Boy Advance, I grew up on, and I like those games. They still run. They still feel great for me. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 was the first Game Boy Advance game I ever got. It's pretty cool having my collection. I like having it up on my shelf. It's a little bit beat up. you know, it's hard to keep these cardboard games in good condition. So not quite Tony Hawk, but Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX 2, also made by Activision 02. So it has a lot of similarities between the Tony Hawk series and this one, except this one's BMX. Honestly, I never played much of the Matt Hoffman series, surprisingly enough. I grew up on Tony Hawk, but I played Dave Mirra's Freestyle BMX, which was made by Acclaim, and was a little bit different. But so on the BMX side, it was a little bit different for me. I do want to go back. I want to play Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX 2 on the Xbox. I paid $4.99 for this one. I don't know where I got it. $4.99 for it. I want to say, based off of the sticker on the side, that I got this at Salvation Army, and I paid $4.99 for it. Funny enough, it's showing $4.99 at EB Games when it was for sale. Fun pickup. Like I said, I've never played this series, so I'm looking forward to giving it a try. It probably plays a lot like the Tony Hawk series. There's nothing wrong with that. I like that. Again, nothing too crazy about this one. Picked it up at the SPCA thrift store. A lot like Jillian Michaels. It's one of those games you just pick up to add to the library, and that's The Amazing Race on the Nintendo Wii. Funny enough, I went to go actually try this game out. I wanted to see what it was all about, and you need to have 2 players to play this. So it's 2 to 4 players. So as soon as I booted it up, it was like, boot up another Wii remote. You're not playing with just one player. So you know, I'll probably never play this game because of that. It's going to stay on the shelf, and it's a nice pickup. It's good to support the SPCA thrift store whenever you can. Another compilation disc. I think the theme of this video is going to be compilation discs, Tony Hawk and Assassin's Creed. This one is Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection on the PlayStation 3. I paid $9.99 for that one. That's a little high for me to pay at Value Village. For whatever reason, I paid it because it is a compilation disc, and I'm a sucker for these type of games. This one has, what does it say? The biggest Sega Genesis collection ever. Over 40 classic titles, and as well as this one also has trophies. So that's a lot of fun too, and so you could go back and you can play some of these classics and get the trophies, get a little bit of a carrot on a stick, which is what I like. Gives you a reason to play some of those games you might not give a try on the compilation discs. I always have a tendency to get one of these, and then I'm just going to play the game that I played as a kid and not really play the other ones. When I boot up this one, of course, I'm going to play Sonic, right? I'm going to play Sonic right away. So yeah, there's a lot of good games on this one, but I'm sure there's some that I've never played, and those trophies will lead me towards those ones as well. So I'm looking forward to giving this one a try. Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection on the PlayStation 3. I'm looking at that tower back there. It's getting a little tall, isn't it? It's a little wobbly when I put the last game on it. I want to see how high I can make it. The next one up on the list, sticking to the theme, Assassin's Creed 2. Picked this one up at, I'm going to say the Salvation Army as well, because it has the same red sticker. Paid $4.99 for this one. It needs a little bit of cleaning up. Yeah, it's got both instruction manuals. When I say both, it has the English and French, because we're in Canada. I actually have a sealed copy of this one, of the Platinum Hits, but the disc is moving around in it, and that's bugging the hell out of me. I'm trying, every now and then I'll pick it up and the disc will be kind of, you know, sliding in there, and I'll try to level it out and maybe just like push a little bit and see if I can get it to connect again. But ultimately I just get frustrated, I give up, and I put it back on the shelf. But I do have a sealed copy of it, yeah, just with the disc flying around in it. So if I find an Assassin's Creed game for under $5, generally I'm going to pick it up just because I'm a sucker for the series, and I'm happy to have this one. This one comes from the Xbox 360 games I got from the charity auction, and that's Orange Box on the Xbox 360. It has the Half-Life series in it. It has Portal. Portal is one of those games that is just, it's absolutely mind-blowing when you first played it, and it's so much fun. If you've never played the Portal series, I highly recommend it. It's one of the most fun games you can play. I would love to see them come out with Portal 3 at some point. I've never played Half-Life. That's another thing. I've never played the Half-Life series, so this would be a perfect opportunity to go back and play it. Half-Life 2 is Metacritic's highest rated PC game of all time. I wonder if that's still the case. I'm not sure. Next up is another Activision 02 title, and no, it's not Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. It's Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer. Never played this game. I picked this one also up at Most Wanted Pawn when I was in PEI. Paid only $3 for this one. I have played some of it. It's a little bit more difficult. We'll get into it a little bit more at some point. I will do a Playing Everything series of this one. It's based off of that same formula. Activision 02 title, you can't go wrong with that. Like the Matt Hoffman series, like the Tony Hawk series. At one point, they tried to dive into the surfing world as well. You know, they were trying to get their money's worth. That's the Activision way. It's pretty neat, you know. That's how I heard about Kelly Slater back in the day, is from this game. And another cool one to add to the collection is Justice League Heroes, and I picked this one up at Parlor Pawn. It's got the green sticker on it. At this point of the video, I want to say the green stickers were $3.99, maybe $4.99. There was definitely not more than $5 though. It's kind of one of those like 1 to 4 player beat 'em up games where you're kind of going through going through the city, going through the level, and just like beating up guys, and you can kind of go back and forth between what characters you are. It reminds me a little bit of like how Lego series does it, where you kind of have a companion with you kind of thing, right? You can swap between Batman and Superman and the Flash and all that stuff. So if you're into the DC series and the DC universe, then I highly recommend this one. It's pretty cool. It honestly doesn't play too bad either, so it has a lot of cool characters in it, and this was a fun pickup for me. Next up on the list, another game I got from EB Games, or GameStop I should say, was The Blob 2 on the PlayStation 4. This game was for $14.99, so I paid $7.50 for it. Just looking to build that library up of PlayStation 4 games a little bit. I never played the Blob series. It just looks like fun. Looks like a fun, everyday game. It is PlayStation 4 Pro enhanced, so you can make use of that on the PlayStation 5 as well. And that's The Blob 2 on the PlayStation 4. And another one from the charity auction that I picked up was Splinter Cell Conviction. Picked this one up as well in the 6 Xbox 360 games. This one is pretty neat though to have in your collection because it did just come out on the Xbox 360. I think it came out on the PC as well. Didn't come out on the PlayStation consoles. So if you don't have this game in your collection, I do highly recommend you add it to your collection. It's a good Splinter Cell game. It's Sam Fisher at his best. I don't know what Ubisoft's doing, man. Like they got to come out with some more Splinter Cells here soon. Like they keep teasing it. They keep putting them in these stupid shows and different stuff. They put them out on this Netflix show and they look so dumb. And but they got to get back to the roots here. They got to come out with I've always said it. They got to come out with and it's going to sound crazy, a compilation disc of the original 3. They got to come out with one Pandora Tomorrow and Chaos Theory, put them in a nice package, give them 4K HDR, maybe they can do some ray tracing in there as well. That would just absolutely blow the minds of gamers if they could go back and they could play the first Splinter Cell game with enhanced graphics and maybe more modern controls and stuff like that. I feel like they would have an easy win for them if they just went back and they redid some of the games in this series and maybe come up with a new one as well. Splinter Cell is a great series to play, and I highly recommend Splinter Cell Conviction as well. Next one up on the list is Shaun White's Snowboarding on the Xbox 360. Picked this one up at Value Village. I paid $3.99 for it. Nothing too crazy, just another snowboarding game. SSX Tricky's up there is one of my favorite. Snowboarding Kids is up there. That's probably way up there as one of my favorites. I don't have that one in my collection, but it'd be awesome to have. Shaun White's Snowboarding is made by Ubisoft. It's on the Xbox 360. I believe it's on the original Xbox as well. I feel like I saw it not too long ago. Yeah, Total Freedom. That's what it says on the back. It shows a bunch of different stuff. I hope that it plays a lot like the Tony Hawk games or the SSX series. I'm going to give this one a try at some point. You will see it on my Playing Everything series as well when I live stream. And another sealed game that I found at SPCA Thrift Store, and that's Madden 07 on the original Xbox. It's got a little bit of a tear there, but it is unopened. It is sealed. This is pretty cool. I paid $4 for this one. It's cool to have in the collection. And I actually already have this game on the original Xbox open, so it's cool to have a sealed copy as well. Being able to find these games at like the SPCA Thrift Store and finding a sealed copy of an original Xbox game is a fun gem. Yeah, that's why I call it the thrill of the hunt right here, is finding sealed games, and this is no exception. Madden 07 on the original Xbox. And speaking of sealed games, NHL 13 on the PlayStation 3. I don't know where I got this one at this point. Can't quite remember because there's nothing on it. NHL 13 on the PlayStation 3. It's nothing too crazy. It's a sports title as well. It's probably not worth that much or anything, but it is just fun to have in the collection, a nice sealed copy of a game. This one says it has exclusive content only on PlayStation. I don't know what they mean by that. Other than that, it's nothing too crazy. It's an EA sports title, NHL 13, sealed. Love to have it in my collection. Next one up, this is a Wii classic. When the Wii first came out, you probably saw this game floating around a lot, and this is Chicken Shoot on the Nintendo Wii, and at least I remember seeing it around. When the Wii came out, like maybe shortly after it, I started working at EB Games for a little bit. This game always popped up. People would buy this game, and I think because it was like kind of the shooter type duck hunt style game that you would expect on the Wii, generally pretty cheap as well, and I paid $2.99 for this one at the Value Village. Probably was at max $20. I don't even honestly remember how much this one was worth back when it first came out. It feels like kind of like one of those online flash games or something like that. It's nothing too crazy. This is Chicken Shoot on the Nintendo Wii. Fun to have in the collection. Yeah, what else can you say? And sticking to the theme once again, another Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag on the PlayStation 4. If you're not counting the PC version, this is probably the best version that you can play, at least in terms of graphic. I believe this one was full 1080p when it came out. There's no enhancements on the Xbox version. That's why I say that this is probably the best version. Graphically, this is the best one to play. I'll make the argument that the Wii U version is maybe the best version in terms of like a different style of version, in the fact that you have the gamepad and you can look at the map, you can look at where all the collectibles are without having to hit select or go into the menus. So that version is maybe the best version to play in terms of gameplay, but in terms of graphics, the the PlayStation 4 version is probably the best one, not counting the PC. I think this is great to have in the collection. I am going to go back and play this one. I've actually been playing this one a little bit already on the PlayStation. At some point I will do playing everything of this game as well. It's a fun game to have in the collection. You know I love my Assassin's Creed Black Flag on the PlayStation 4. And next up is yet another Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Bloodlines on the PSP. I picked this one up at a pawn shop in Moncton, not Parlor Pawn. I can't quite remember the name of it. It was a cool spot. It was a little hole-in-the-wall type of pawn shop, which is what I like. And I don't even have a PSP at this point. You know, I used to have a PSP, but I ended up getting rid of it at one point. The PSP used to be the portable system that you'd get if you wanted to play all the emulation games. Essentially, it was really easy to hack, and I remember you had to get into the battery or something like that and scratch something off on the battery. Good to have in the collection, Assassin's Creed Bloodlines on the PSP. Looking forward to trying this one out at some point. And the next pickup is Fable 3. Picked that one up at Value Village, paid $4.99 for that one. It's got stickers all over it. It's got to be cleaned up for sure. Nice exclusive game to have that you can add to the collection. And this is also the not for resale version, which is what caught my eye with this one. You know, I'm not sure if it's worth more or less or whatever. And Fable is a fun series to play, even back on the original Xbox when you're playing Fable 1. Fable was one of those games, or it was a series where it was highly anticipated. It had a lot of promise. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to play. You know, you can be a good guy, you can be a bad guy. I remember when you played the first Fable, it was like the more you died in the game, the worse your character would start to look. It was those little details that were just like so cool for its time. I definitely recommend Fable 3 if you've never tried it out before. Next one up, another sealed copy of a game. Picked this one up for $5.99. This is Drive Club on the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation Hits version, Greatest Hits version, whatever you want to call it. So Drive Club, you know, Drive Club has always been touted as one of those games that just has great graphics for the PlayStation 4. It was supposed to be the kind of the challenger to, I guess they got Gran Turismo, so you say Gran Turismo is kind of the challenger to Forza on the Xbox, but Drive Club is a little bit different. I remember seeing the visuals of this game, you know, in videos and stuff like that, and it was really impressive. It might actually be even still impressive to this date. I might open it up at some point. You know, it is sealed, so I kind of want to hold on to it, maybe keep it sealed, but it's a cool game to have in the collection. I'm happy for this. And next one up on the list, surprise, surprise, another Assassin's Creed game. Assassin's Creed Unity on the PlayStation 4. I paid $5.99 for this one. I picked it up at Value Village. Assassin's Creed Unity is a really fun game, and I played a little bit of this one. I went back and I wanted to grab some footage of this game, and I was still blown away on how good this game looks. Like, Assassin's Creed Unity is not one you want to sleep on. It had some issues at launch. It had a lot of bugs at launch. The first game that was on the next gen consoles, you know, if you want to say the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, only came out on those consoles. So that, you know, Ubisoft, it was a tall task for them. You know, they ran into some issues when this game launched. They had some issues with bugs and glitches and stuff like that, and it got a lot of hate at the beginning of it. If you're a fan of the Assassin's Creed series, I highly recommend this one if you've never played it. It takes place in Paris, takes place in France. The graphics are really cool in it. The gameplay's different. You can kind of take on a mission from different angles and do different things. It also had co-op on it at one point. So yeah, you could jump into missions with friends as well, and you could kind of see 4 assassins going in on a mission type thing. So that was a little bit different. They were trying something different with it. Overall, though, guys, this game is excellent. I highly recommend playing Assassin's Creed Rogue and then playing Assassin's Creed Unity. They kind of tie in pretty close together. So yeah, this one's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. Check it out. And the last game in my pickups video, you know, I do still have a hardware pickup I want to show you at the end. This is Gears of War, the Ultimate Edition on the Xbox One. I paid $10 for this one. Just wanted to have it in my collection, a physical copy in my collection. Looks amazing on the Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Series S. This is a remake of the original Gears of War that came out on the Xbox 360. I hope to see that they do this more often and they come up with some more remakes for us at some point. Yeah, Gears of War Ultimate Collection on the Xbox One. Awesome to have. Oh, Louis wanted to join me here for the last part of the video. He's been bugging me down below. So yeah, he's going to be on the video for the last part. Last hardware pickup. The last hardware pickup in this video is 2 controllers. So I'll start off one, as I picked up the Elite 2 controller on the Xbox One. And it's looking a little slobbery. I think that's just from Louis. This is pretty cool to have, the Xbox Elite 2 controller. I really like this controller. This is my go-to controller now. The only downside about the Elite 2 controller is the fact that it's not backwards compatible with the original Elite controller. So like, I can't grab the joystick off of this one, for example, and use it on this one. And that's the downside, but you know, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in there. So because I have a lot of like old joysticks from my first Elite controllers, I actually have like 3 or 4 Elite controllers, but I can't use them. But on the other hand though, is I can use the paddles on the back, And the only reason I bring this up is because I bought the base version, I guess, of the Elite 2 controller. So yeah, it is pretty cool to have though. This is my go-to controller. I use this all the time when I'm playing the Series X now. It just feels amazing. It feels awesome. And yeah, I love it. And finally, guys, another Xbox controller here for you. The hype got to me on this one. I ended up picking it up in an auction, and that is the Starfield Xbox controller. It looks so cool. I try to avoid controller collecting because there's just so many controllers. Like, it's ridiculous. Feels great. I don't actually play with it. I just keep it on display. Have the box and everything like that, but I think it looks so cool, like, on its own. See if I can get it up nice and close. Like, look at that. That looks so cool. I like this controller a lot. I'll leave this one on display, probably with my Titanfall ones. It's one of those controllers that just come across every now and then. You're like, I gotta have it. So that's it for me, guys. You know, a ton of games, some hardware, some controllers. You know, I kind of wish I did do some more pickup videos throughout the year. Doing one big one was kind of fun. It's fun to like look back and see all these games I picked up. For now, I got to throw them back on the shelf, you know, get them all nice and cleaned up, nice and tidy. And probably at some point in 2024, you know, I'll do another game room tour, and hopefully maybe it'll include the living room as well, where maybe I can show off some more of my games and show off all of them on the shelves and stuff like that, and keep building this collection because it's a lot of fun. I love thrifting. I love going out and finding games in the wild and building that collection, building that library of games, you know, and just and that's what's fun to me is the collecting of it. I will do some more pickup videos. I'm looking forward to doing more. Probably will do them more on a monthly basis, you know, even if they're just a couple minutes long and I only picked up 2 or 3 things, you know, it's better to do them in that type of chunk than to do one massive chunk like I just did. It's fun to change it up every now and then, try something different. Let me know if you've picked up any fun finds in your thrifting adventures as well. Make sure you do like and subscribe, but for now, guys, have a good one.